on the east side of Buffalo. I grew up in a family of five in a two-bedroom house. Our household income was under $30,000 a year. It's not like I had a head start at all. It was a desire to just do better. I bought my first house because I spent no money on clothes, sneakers, cars, jewelry. But I bought my first house while I was a sophomore in college. Lending was a lot easier then. I had a lot of money saved up because I worked hard when I was 16. I tried to work as many hours as I could when I was younger. So I bought my first house when I was a sophomore in college, and it took me 8 more years up until I realized the power of real estate, where I started buying more. I spent my careers working in Division I basketball, 4 years Houston Police Department, 2 years as a New York State Trooper, and then I quit that 6-figure job to become a real estate agent. While becoming a real estate agent, I started learning investing more, and I bought 5 properties in my first year and focusing on rental properties. And I've done that, and I did not have a strong lending background because I was newly self-employed, so I depended on seller financing. So I started off with a lot of seller financing. Eventually, when I had a strong portfolio of cash flow and rentals, I started to buy my rentals in LLC, and I got commercial lending from a local community bank. But starting off, seller financing was awesome. The most important part when buying a home is understanding the story of the homeowner. I think you would agree.
Absolutely.
I'm only going to win if I match all of their needs. And you have to understand what their needs are in order so you can make a relevant and a proper offer for them. So the 2 houses, or 2 of the first 3 houses I bought in this growth towards rental properties, both those people already moved out of their primary residence and had another house. Their motivation was to just wipe their hands free of a property that they no longer wanted. They didn't want to be a landlord, but they also did not need the money from the sale in order to buy their next house. So perfect. So I made offers to both of them where one of them, they owned the property outright. They had no mortgage on the property because it was paid off. So I gave them a higher sales price, but 100% financing. I paid closing costs. It cost me under $1,000 to move into this property. And I made monthly payments to them of around $675 a month. And I rented out the place for $950 per month starting off. It's $1,000 per month right now. That was 5 years ago now. And this other property, person had a mortgage balance. Some people thought he was underwater, but he moved on. He just wanted to get rid of the house and not pay out of pocket to discharge the mortgage, and he didn't want a short sale or a foreclosure. So I gave him $1,000 a month, and I did a wraparound mortgage. I gave him $1,000 cash. I paid for all closing costs on both sides, and we did a wraparound mortgage for the existing terms of his mortgage. So I paid all of his monthly costs. It continued to be reported on his credit report. So he needed some credit repair. So me actually paying his mortgage benefited him. He got $1,000 out of pocket, and I had a monthly mortgage payment of just under $700 a month, and I rented out that property for $1,000 a month. Meanwhile, it only cost me $1,000 out of pocket. So I paid off my initial investment in just a few months. That's how I got started. Come up with creative ways while meeting the desires of the homeowner.
Getting started, you were using these creative strategies. Moving forward into majority of your purchases, these rental purchases, was there like a specific strategy you used in order to obtain most of them?
I don't like ratios. I don't like percentages because I think they could be skewed all the time. Cap rates, internal rate of returns, gross rent multipliers, the debt service credit ratio, they all have their place, but I don't evaluate properties with any specific ratio. I try to see if I buy this property, will my net worth increase while not hurting my cash flow? So that's how I buy. And I bought 2 other creative ways. I bought a property. It was a 3-unit for $117,000. I think it was cash. It was rented out for probably about $1,500 a month. Right now, I'm getting $1,800 a month. This was 4 years ago. I don't want to pay out of pocket. The seller had no mortgage on the property. It was sitting on the market for over a year. it was listed at 140, eventually dropped to 117. I said, I'm not going to negotiate on price. I want to negotiate on terms. So I bought the house for 117, and I got bank finance. I got a commercial loan. I needed 20% down on this multi-unit. 20% of 117 was roughly, what's that, $96,000 and change with closing costs. Or sorry, my loan was $96,000, and I needed just like around $22,000 to close. I got a $40,000 lien in the second position that the bank allowed from the homeowner. So I borrowed 96 from the bank, 40 from the homeowner, and I put over $20,000 in my, or around $20,000 in my pocket to buy this property. And then I was cash flowing. My monthly mortgage payment was significantly less than what my rental income was. It was great. I put cash in my pocket while cash flowing.
Wow.
And now my strategy is a little bit different. Right now, I have a community bank where I am purchasing the property, and the place is appraised at the after repair value. So I give my scope of work. You know, I'll tell them I'm going to paint, put in new vinyl click and lock floors throughout the house, carpet in the bedrooms, new kitchen cabinets, granite countertops, and the house is going to appraise based on those improvements. And it's great. I bought this one property for $62,000. Needed a lot of work though. Did foundation, siding, windows, insulation, roof, drywall, all the finish work. The inside was completely gutted. But and this was actually a wholesale from you, 427 Hoyt. I actually got my final draw yesterday. I didn't tell you. Total into it, I'm into it around 122. So with closing costs, I'm into it for under $190,000. It appraised for 305. I actually did higher end finishes than I anticipated. Check out Facebook if you want to take a look at some of the pictures. But that's a huge windfall. So it appraised at 305. I got it. The bank approved me for 80% of the after repair value. So $240,000 mortgage, 190 all into it. I put $50,000 in my pocket while having over $60,000 in equity. And I have a tenant that is ready to move in for $1,400 a month on one unit. I'll probably get $1,500 a month on the other unit. I wanted to Airbnb it, but I'm a little hesitant right now with travel and the coronavirus.
Got it. So I think that strategy is actually called the BRRRR method. So
I skipped one step on the BRRRR method because BRRRR method, you know, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. I'm getting one loan, one closing to get all my money. So it's the BRRRR method on steroids, skipping a step, saving money on closing costs, and you know, much more efficient. Also, you know exactly what the refinance number is because I'm getting that appraisal number before I even close on the property. I know what I am going to get as far as a loan balance before I finish all my improvements. And it gives you a lot more peace of mind if you are doing renovations, need to go over budget, want to adjust the renovations from rental grade to flipping grade.
And it just sounds like
not all community banks do it, but definitely local. If you go to any of the big banks, they probably don't have an appetite for that.
Gotcha. And just sounds like instead of you putting up your cash up front, the bank is basically fronting you the cash plus the rehab cost. So I think that's what you mean by skipping a step and with this new.
Typically, I'm getting 100% or greater than 100% financing on my purchase plus rehab. You don't get all the money up front, you get it in the form of draws. So on the purchase price, I have to come up with 20% of the purchase price, but then, you know, I'll put a roof that costs $10,000. The bank will give me a $20,000 draw. I put floors throughout. I've spent $8,000. The bank will give me a $15,000 draw. And that's how this house at 427 Hoyt in Buffalo worked out for me.
And it sounds like with this new method, you're not coming any out-of-pocket costs. Does that sound about right?
I am paying out of pocket for the down payment, but I'm quickly getting that reimbursed within a matter of weeks. One time, I even made renovations to a house prior to closing, the first phase of the draw schedule, and I closed. The inspection was already done by the bank, and I closed on the property, 20% out of pocket, but I got the draw from the first phase that same day of closing, and I had my down payment reimbursed. It was fantastic.
Wow, fantastic. I might actually steal your new strategy.
Let's do it.